You see, engine oil as itself, it's basically manufactured to answer both four important aspects: lubrication, sealing, and cleaning. Now, when it comes to the need and why it's very important for you to actually change that oil, think of it as water that is clean and then gets dirty. You'll have to replenish it so that you can get it back clean again. Now, when this oil is fresh, its lubrication capacity or capabilities is as the manufacturers have recommended. It explains why we have the 5W30s, we have the 5W40s, we have the 10W40s, 10W30s, and all these other oil grades. These numbers basically mean that the lubrication capacity or the fluidity of this oil at different temperatures, of course, not only will they vary, but also will be effective at the different pressures and temperatures that are available. So when you put in fresh oil in your engine, you're getting the best of flow of the oil. As your engine is running, the oil pump pumps the oil up, the oil is able to flow. That means a 5W30 oil flows faster and with much more ease than a 10W40 oil or than a 15W30 oil. That explains the different grades in there. So lubrication is a very important aspect, and that's why you should change your oil. Now, that lubrication helps to avoid wear. It helps the metallic components of your engine to run smoother with less heat provision or producing heat and friction between those different surfaces. The other aspect is heat dissipation. Engine oil is liquid. Now, as this oil is flowing through your system of the engine, through the system of your engine, it picks up the heat that's coming, of course, from the combustion through the piston rings, through the piston, through the walls of the engine block and all these other places. It picks all that heat, and as it rotates and runs around the orifice and everywhere else, it gets itself to the oil cooler. The oil cooler itself, different designs have either it is water cooled or it is air cooled, depending on the design of your engine. So that oil, if it is fresh, it is able to pick as much of the heat of your engine as possible, moves with it to the oil cooler where that heat gets dissipated back either into the air or it goes to your coolant for additional dissipation through the radiators or through your air-cooled system. That therefore means the fresher your oil, the better the heat extraction that your oil will do from your engine, and it helps to avoid issues of overheating and helps avoid issues of detonation. It helps to avoid issues of fuel consumption being high because the engine is running hot. Engine itself, it has an optimum working temperature as well. It comes back to the third point of cleaning. As your engine oil is running from the sump through the pump, goes through the block, runs from the block, goes to the cylinder head, picks from the cylinder head, runs back down and pours back down to the sump again through the filters and everything else. That oil is moving with all the dirt and gunk and all that is within, and it goes and deposits it into your oil filter. That explains why the oil filter exists, the name oil filter. It picks all that dirt and stores it there. So if your oil is new, it's able to pick up and attract so much of this dirt and moves with it, and it deposits in the oil filter as it continues to go and do its additional lubrication work and heat dissipation work up within your engine before it definitely goes back to the sump for another round of pumping. So now, as your oil gets older or gets more used up, it means that it's not going to do that functionality of cleaning better. And the fourth reason, like I mentioned, it's sealing. You see, as your pistons are running up and down, the piston rings are right there. These are metal to metal surfaces, and they're not having an interference fit where they're so tightly squeezed on each other that they can't move. There is a little bit of air gap that exists in between there. As your piston is running up and down in the block, there's a little bit of air gap that exists. Engine oil comes to work as a sealing surface in between there, so that you don't lose out on your compression. That's why for us mechanics, while we're doing our work, we know that much as you have the compression ring, we also have the oil ring. The oil ring is an oil scraper ring that helps to clean up the walls of the cylinder so that the system is always lubricated. So the oil helps to do that sealing as well, so that you're able to get better consumption out of the fuel that you put in your car. Now, when the oil is new, the sealing is okay. Do you know why? Because remember we talked about lubrication? The oil is able to flow properly. The oil is able to stick better onto the walls of your cylinder, and everything is perfectly done. But as your oil keeps wearing out, the chemical content of it keeps breaking down because of the heat. That oil literally becomes almost like water. Water is not a good lubricant. We all know that. That means as you get yourself towards the higher mileage of your used engine oil, you now start having additional wear and tear. The sealing surface or the sealing capability of the oil is lost. The lubrication bit of the oil gets lost. The cleaning bit of the oil gets lost. And then lastly, the heat dissipation bit of your oil also getting lost. So it's important. Make your oil change periodically.